What's up, YouTube? So, in this video, I just want to kind of go over some of my thoughts on Mike McDaniel being fired by the Miami Dolphins tonight. I know he was fired earlier today. I just wanted to kind of collect my thoughts on it before I actually talked about it. Honestly, I mean, I'm happy to move on from him. It was definitely time. It just something needed to change, and I just want a complete rebuild of this franchise. You know, we moved on from Chris Greer. We're now closing in on the new GM. It's looking like we're going to be moving on from Tua, probably Tyreek Hill as well, just being the salary cap that's going to come with that. And honestly, I'm just kind of ready to move on. Now, I don't have the disdain for Mike McDaniel that I did Chris Greer. Chris Greer pissed me off way more than Mike McDaniel ever did. He was just here for so much longer to fuck things up. And I do think Mike McDaniel is going to go somewhere and be great. He'll probably, or very possibly, will have head coaching opportunities this year. If not, he'll probably go somewhere to be a good offensive coordinator, maybe Detroit or something like that. But it absolutely was time to go. Hopefully, we do end up with John Harbaugh. That is who I would want. As far as the GM searches go, the GM candidates that we are looking at, Chad Alexander, out of the 4 people we are interviewing in person, would be my first choice. I like him more than John Eric Sullivan just because I don't think the Packers draft all that well. With Chad Alexander, not only does he have connections with John Harbaugh, but I think the Jets started the draft a lot better shortly after he got there in 2019. The Chargers had a pretty good draft as well this year. So I do prefer him over John Eric Sullivan. And like I said, he does know John Harbaugh, so that does help there. Neither of them would have been my first choice. Alec Halaby, I think that's how you pronounce it, from the Eagles, he would have been my choice. But anyway, that's not really what I wanted to talk about mainly here. It is Mike McDaniel moving on from Mike McDaniel. But now we're just gonna have to see what we're gonna do with this, because quite frankly, as a GM or a head coach, you know, there's some pretty good opportunities out there right now in the league, whether it be the Giants or the Bucs. And, you know, the Dolphins, we have a nightmare in terms of cap room. We don't really know what to do with Tua. So we don't have a quarterback. We actually have less than that because the quarterback we have is actively harming your team cap-wise. And, you know, our draft pick is 11, so... you know, the Giants, you have Jackson Dart, you've got Scadaboo, you've got Neighbors, you've got the 5th overall pick. The Bucs have a lot of talented players on their team. But if we can get John Harbaugh, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. If that means Chad Alexander, then that's great. Because like I said, out of the 8 people we were interviewing, Chad Alexander would have been my 4th choice. I like Alec Halaby, John McKay, and R.J. Gillen a little bit more than him. But, again, that's removed from us getting John Harbaugh. That's just strictly Chad Alexander versus those 3. But if Chad Alexander gets us John Harbaugh, then that's different than terms of what we want. Yeah. Anyway, like I said, I just wanted to kind of go over my thoughts real quick. Like I said, after this season, you know, us missing the playoffs, us not winning a playoff game under McDaniel, like, it was definitely time to change some things and do just a complete rebuild. So, yeah. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. If you liked it, appreciate that like button, hit the questions or comments in the comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you.